The Accursed Towers have completely changed inside of Diablo Immortal, and a lot of players are confused. So today I brought on Red October, the leader of my clan, Scrappy Echoes, on the Iceburn tier server, to take us through exactly what he's been learning as he's preparing us for Season 3 of the Accursed Towers. So if you're looking forward to figuring out how to get involved in this game mode and reap the rewards, watch this guide because we got you covered. Red, thanks for coming to the channel, man. I'm confused about the Accursed Towers, are many other players, so I was hoping that you can kind of take us through what's new inside of Season 3 with this new update. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, Echo. I'm glad to be on here. I've done quite a bit of look into this, over the last, we're now 24 hours into the patch essentially. Trying to make sense of the towers. We knew it changed. Ghost signals let us know 2 days before today, being September the 12th, that Accursed Towers, the change is live. We're gonna go in with it. There was just not much to run with for us. We knew that it was changed, but we didn't know what any of this meant. And then 24 hours ago, when the patch went live, I, and along with many other people, were like, okay, we know what we got to do. We got to cleanse this tower. So my clan is going to go for this tower because we want these rewards. And we were suddenly lost at sea. It's lost in that frozen North Sea. It was, we're all chasing Diablo yesterday. And I swear to you, I had flashbacks back to when we were doing the alpha and the beta, where they're throwing these game modes into us. And it's like, what do we do? So there's a lot of people kind of taking stabs, a lot of questions being asked. The Reddit had so many posts in there, people loving and hating it, but a lot of questions about this alliance towers. Like, what do I do? How do I get in there? Nothing looks right, and I jumped in feet first because that's the only way to learn this stuff. And I'm going to kind of run you through what I did, where we went, what informations I could gather at the time, and then as I piece things together, what I think you guys need to know, what's going to help answer some of your questions. And even as recently as about 20 minutes ago, I was helping someone with this exact question of, what do I do for these towers? How do I start, running what I need to do so we can get the most of this?
All right, so I personally don't mind when new game modes are thrown out with limited guidance, because sometimes it's kind of fun to figure things out. Other times you could be completely lost in an abyss. So that's why this guide is here, to kind of take people through it. So I guess Season 3's begun. How does a clan or a player get themselves involved? Let's just start with step one and walk all the way through the final steps.
Yeah. So, typically whenever we, are jumping into these towers, as you can see on in game, we'd go into the clan UI. So if you popped into your settings, you've got your clan, where you can see all your dark clans and Shadow War stuff. And then, you've got on the screen here, this Accursed Towers, and then we're all familiar with this buttons. We don't read any of this. We just know, all right, I click on battle map and bang, I get where I need to go. But that's the first mistake. There's a lot of information just above that battle map where you've got the Season 3 notes. They kind of give you this information here that there's really a whole new organization starting around with this. So, I mean, they give you, I won't read through it, but they give you the overview, and they talk about an alliance leader. So we've got alliances of clans. Before it was Scrappy Echoes, we took, the Secrets clan to get the rewards, and it was ours, and we did with what we wanted. But now there's an alliance that has to be formed. And, now we need to understand what this really means. And then as we go through, below that, you've got the schedules, you've got your typical things we're used to doing, registration, purifications, and then challenging. So, I mean, a lot of this isn't changed, it's just how it's going to happen. After we cleanse the tower, we're going to have to defend the tower or attack a tower. These are all mechanics that we've seen, but the nuance is going to be in that alliance. So from here, if you were to jump into the battle map, because I've already joined us into an alliance, this picture now looks a little more traditional to what we see. Before, if I know a lot of people had been complaining, if they were to scroll out, there's a little or there was a dial on the outside of the screen. Yep, this had looked a little bit differently. There's 4 large regions. If you go all the way out, it'll show you Dreadlands, Kendoras, which are zones that we can go into. And then on the right side, you've got dry steppes and swamplands. Just like before, they launch us with 2 big zones. The other 2 will be coming, and you can see here that they show dry steppes unlocks in 2 weeks. Swamplands, it will unlock 2 weeks following that, just to give us more towers. That's normal. Before, it was just a single tower that we had to worry about. So like you can see on the left hand side, we've got contested tower 133. I selected that as the tower that we're going to defend. At the moment, we're the only one registered. Anyone can certainly challenge us. And this will be just like the single clan events that we're used to. But if you look closely on the left-hand side above Tower 33, you'll see there's 2 tabs. And that left tab is the individual clan, but that right tab is our alliance. And we're going to be working in conjunction with a number of different clans to actually, I don't know if it's, and I haven't seen this. This is my open question. Is it like spread our control? Are we trying to, you know, build out our power that we have? Are we going to get additional rewards? This is still some of the open-ended questions, but I was able to get a little more information we'll dive into. But we now have these alliances to kind of see and figure out. And then if you want to know a little bit more about the alliances, and this is where I also jumped into right away, in the lower right-hand corner, there's that red button. And in our case, we're in an alliance with, it shows on here 5 different clans, and Gentara is the leader of the 11th Hour clan. So shout out to Gentara and the 11th Hour folks. I gave them all a heads up that we're going to have this call and to keep an eye out for it. Give some respect to all of them. She actually set up this alliance, you know, and anyone can set it up. It was, if my memory's correct, 3,000 platinum for the clan to set it up. And she is the leader of the alliance leading clan. And then underneath them, they have 2 other clans that they could set up, which are your guardian clans. And then underneath that is as many as you need regular clans. So, you know, depending on how you structure this, I could see the map working a couple different ways. So in our case, there's 3 clans that are in that group. And on the left-hand side, if you click on the clan composition, you can see here, this is a list of all the clans along with the clan leads that are on here. And from here, one of the things you'll notice up at the top, obviously, is the 11th Hour clan. New to the paradigm we've seen, they can actually claim 3 towers. So over the course of the season, they can hold up to 3 towers, to defend up to 3 towers, which is brand new. So that means they'll get 3 times opportunities for rewards. Beneath them is the Guardian clans. They can hold up to 2 towers. You know, so we've got Grim and You Even Rift. You'll also notice, as a side note, special shout out to our friend. Yesterday we ran with Core in the event. And then underneath You Even Rift, the Black Hat Pirates and Scrappies, you know, we're all a regular clan, so we're only going to have to worry about defending 1. Kind of a little annoyed, you know, just as an opinion, that, you know, we only get the bonuses from 1 tower. So I hope that we kind of share some contributions back to the whole clan's alliance we've got going on. So this at least gives us a little bit of a difference. And I know it right now, like I said, you know, the Scrappy Echoes, we are defending, or chose to defend one of our towers already. So I've already set that up.
So Red, I have a question. Notice 11th Hour can get the 3 towers. They created this whole alliance. That makes sense. But then we have Grim and You Even Rift. They can hold 2 towers and they're guardians, and we and the Black Hat Pirates are regular clans. What determines if we're a regular clan or a guardian clan, allowing us to claim either 1 tower or the 2? How does that whole thing work?
Well, when I applied to be in the alliance, that was one of the questions that it actually asked me. Do I want to apply as a guardian or a regular clan? Based on that, the alliance leader can accept you as one of the 2. I talked with Gentara offline, back and forth, and we'd come to the agreement that there were some other clans that were bigger, stronger, more PvP focused, and you know, she said, well, why don't we put you as a regular unless you want to start your own clan or alliance? I'm like, oh, I want to be part of the alliance. They moved us into the irregulars, and I think it was the Grim clan, I forget now. She was actually able, as the clan lead, to promote them up. So that was, kind of advantageous. So, as the clan leader, alliance leader, you can promote any clan from regular up to guardian, assuming everything's cordial about it. That's an easy move. I did find it weird in the UI. There was no way in anything I read to demote. And I kind of thought, from the quality of life of an alliance leader, while obviously no one likes getting demoted, in the case of the guardians, it actually kind of makes a little bit of sense if they could do some movement. So that was something that, again, at the application, when we joined the alliance, the alliance leader had to write off and accept.
All right, that's actually good information. And so it does take some communication to do it properly, either in-game chat or over on Discord or something. So I will assume that for maybe less serious clans or clans that don't have an alliance leader like yourself that's as dedicated, they may just be applying to things, suggesting that they'll be a guardian, and when they're applying to an alliance, and they could just be placed wherever, and they're going to have to be okay with it if communication is not happening outside of that, which I guess for a even more casual clan or player base, that's fine. They just want to participate in some way. So thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, and especially as far as the communication, I got to give, again, props out to the 11th hour. I don't know if it was Gentara that set it up or somebody else. But they immediately spun up a Discord server, sent out invites, to the leaders, just so we can start communicating and organizing, and like I said before, they said, all right, well, you applied as a guardian. It would make more sense if someone else was in there. Is that all right? Are you guys, in a hard way about it? I'm like, no, we're trying to figure all this out. This is a new mechanic. There's no point in, burning bridges, especially. And, how I am. We've been back and forth for years now, especially while we're trying to figure this out. Let's get to the root of it, and then let's set ourselves up for success.
Which is weird because at the same time, Diablo Immortal's getting less complex in other areas, yet this became more complex. But I do like how it's bringing clans together to play together in alliance. It's a cool mechanic that's going to allow a little bit of immersion, I guess, of different groups so they can play together as a team, even though they're not in the same clan. So I like that idea.
And let me use that as a segue point. Why don't you back up, hit the X button to get back out to the battle map? Because there's something else when you said, I want to play well with others that's really going to be clutch in this environment. So if you look at our tower, which was 133, assuming that we, win this and we accept it and it's our tower to defend, you'll notice that coming off of that, there's some dashed lines. What's that mean? That's new as far as that. So if you go back in the battle map, and I know, I think it was 134. So if you were to slide it down to the south and east a little bit, and you look at that, right now that's being contested by you even Rift Bros. So you hit that bar right there. Yep. Assuming they win, which they probably will, at least at this point in time, since they're in our alliance, when we need to defend our tower, we can actually ask them for help. So, if we can't hit our 10 champions, as I always put it, our 10 champions to defend the tower, I can actually reach out to you, even Rift, or any other alliance that's connected to me via those pathways, and actually ask for help, and they can send over some champions. So, before, when we think about the old paradigm, if we were being, attacked by a, top 10 clan who's just gonna send in 10 7k resonance members, we would get steamrolled. We just don't have that kind of battle power. But you even Rift, they might have some extra people to spare. They could throw us a couple extra people in that defense, and then suddenly we at least stand a much better chance. And so I think it's one of those, this isn't because they're a guardian and we're a regular, it's because we're in that alliance and we're connected via these pathways.
So a question I have right here, Red, we're in that alliance together, but we can only fight together if we're connected by these dotted lines. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. So we can't just call on anyone, and this is actually a great mechanic, especially for clans that are very casual, because they may come to these battles and only have 2 or 3 fighters or people that could battle, but now you could use a little bit of strategy, connect up, and you could actually have 10-player battles. I'm assuming that part of the reason that this was put into place is to allow for clans to have more full battles, because there were probably a lot of battles that were just being tossed or just not having 10 on 10.
Yeah, no, and I definitely saw that. Even in our own environment, that we'd have a couple days that it might have been 8 or 9 people, on our side, and whether it's luck or strategy, sometimes we'd win, sometimes we'd lose, or when I'm setting up those alliances or those rosters for the 10 champions, suddenly it's like, okay, anyone that's online, jump in, just because I need to put 10 people. And I know that I have a couple people in our rosters that, they say, well, I'm only here for the PvE. I'm here for the community. I'll do the PvP, but it's not my favorite, which I respect. I mean, you and I, we will both do the PvP activities, but we also don't want to, jump into all of them.
Mm-hmm.
We're not huge battleground people. I will once in a while, but that's about as far as it goes. And I think in the alliances, if we can orchestrate that, mechanic, that can actually be very advantageous to us. I know even in the last season, shout outs to the Killer Bunnies clan. Like, we had some great battles. We went back and forth for the last couple of weeks, and they ultimately beat us the last time. They had some a really good whale that came in and helped them out. But it's one of those. I think this is a big paradigm shift, and it kind of is like the wild brawl, that so long as you've got communication, you can be, like you said, you can be a 1,500 resonance player and win wild brawl if you are lucky enough or orchestrated enough to get in a party with 6K resonance.
Mm-hmm.
That'll definitely work out to your advantage. And I think that'd be same here, where the smaller clans who probably only had 1 or 2 towers anyway, now they can really make some alliances and get some towers. And the other ones that mechanic I saw in here is like the tower transfer. And as far as like what does that mean, again, I can only hold a maximum number of towers, and if for some reason the towers are a clan maxes out that number, they can actually transfer their towers over to another clan. So like in this case, we'll say 11th hour maxes their towers out, and then they challenge another tower. They have to give up one of their rewards, one of their towers. They could actually transfer it over to someone else in the clan. Just, here you go, Scrappies. You guys have been doing well. Here's a legendary tower, or here's a rare tower that's just given to us. And I think as far as even alt clans, that can be advantageous to have. If I have an alt in another clan, bang, here you go. So I know we could even orchestrate something like that in some cases.
It's a more confusing way that it all works, but it does seem to have a lot of benefit, especially to some of those smaller clans that will never experience a legendary tower and the benefits that those bring. Being able to be kind of carried a little bit by some of the stronger clans is going to allow them to experience some of that. Seems like it has a lot of great teamwork synergy, and I actually like that you need to be connected via the dotted line. So you need to use a little bit of strategy there on what towers you grab with your alliance mates so that you can all, benefit each other in those battles. So it's not like, you just get an alliance together and you could all fight together. You need to use a little bit of strategy, kind of like a board game here, on where you position yourself on the map so you guys could fight together. I really love that. And if you're actually going to be playing and fighting against an alliance of players, you could figure out what towers you need to take to break up that alliance if you make it so that they can't fight together. So a nice amount of strategy that's in here. I appreciate the breakdown so that people could have a better understanding. Is there anything more that you want to share at this point in time, or?
I mean, based on what I've got, like I just went real quick through some of the UIs, just to kind of get some of the information. I know, obviously, this is a the service platform, so things are constantly changing. I'm looking in here right now as I'm kind of glancing down and being rude. The UIs, like, always check that out. So at the top of the battle map, it's got Accursed towers, and there's a little red eye. If you were to tap on that, you can get some of this information. Some of this is still geared towards the older system, so it's not fully accurate, at least based on my knowledge. But if you were to jump into the alliances back on the battle map, that red dot, there's a lot more information. Lower right corner, the red alliance button, and then up top, the tower alliances. There's a lot of good information up at the very top. There you go. A lot of good information here. I went high level over it, but if you were to really delve into, how the tower transfer works, how the memberships, kind of work, there's a lot of good information in there, and definitely, poke around and read. If anyone gets some good information, they can certainly send it over to us, and we'll get either comments, written out. Hit me up on, Discord or Twitter, X. And I know I'm always learning. I know someone's going to tell me, Red, you got it totally wrong. In which case, hey, this is a new mode. We're all trying to figure this out together. And it's one of those. I'm rather hopeful that we'll be able to get a lot of shared rewards. There's reasons for us to be in this alliance. I know, like, right now we're only contending for one tower, so we might only get one reward. But I'd like to see that with the alliance, especially if a clan helps us out or we help a clan out, we get that incentive. And at the very least, and you and I, this is always the big thing, it's community. I popped into an alliance, I started chatting them up, and what I suddenly realized is like, oh, that's Core. We were just running the new event with him, and he and I had a nice little chat, and then I started realizing who else is here, and it's one of those that I looked at it as like, oh, that's one of the nice things about this game, that yeah, there's the PvP, and I'm concerned about being the best, but those of us that don't care about being the best, I'm more concerned about growing the community, and this was a great way to really build that up.
And that's something that you've said and we've said as a clan from the beginning, that it's all about community and it's all about, bringing people together and enjoying the game for what it has to offer. That being said, I'm going to link all your stuff down below. So your X account will be down there. Red's always keeping up to date on anything Diablo Immortal related. If you want to follow him, make sure you do that. And what we'll probably do, maybe as this whole season ends, we'll come back with another video kind of highlighting how everything went, because then we'll have an even deeper understanding. But for now, this is a pretty nice walkthrough on how to take advantage and really participate in the Accursed Towers, so that you and your clan could be reap some of the benefits and engage with other clans as well, because I think that's a huge part of it.
And that was one of the other ones, engage with the clans. Once you join an alliance, and you were actually if you showed your the chat at all, you actually will get a new server line in there, a new chat channel. So now I can see the World Zone party clan, but then there's the Tower Alliance chat, and then you can actually again chat across the clans and help orchestrate, hey, I need extra people for this tower, or is the case that I'm always trying to do, anyone want to do random dungeon finders, let's support each other, let's all get out there. And I know there's plenty of people that, like, I don't like going in world chat because there's so many people that are always busy. At least with this, now we're down to like 5 clans that can all chat together, and it's a much smaller community, which I think is definitely key in player retention, making them feel part of the community at large. So these are all nice little additions that, maybe not the biggest thing, maybe not earth-shattering, but definitely a nice add.
There are also things that you don't see at a glance that you have to interact with the game on the next level to see, which is what we hope to inspire a lot of the new players getting into the game to do as well, so they could be here playing for years to come also. But Red, thanks so much for coming through, breaking this down for all of us, and also thanks for kind of taking lead for the Scrappy Echoes and getting us involved so that we could participate in this. I'm really looking forward to it, not only seeing what the battles look like, I'm assuming they're going to look very similar, if not exactly the same, but also participating with some of the other clans that are in our alliance as well. So thanks for coming through and for the walkthrough. I always appreciate it, man.
No problem. I'm glad to be here. That's always been college for me, is just getting information out, because that's the only way we're going to get it, and I know, folks like Ghost Signal over at Blizzard, they're going to do everything that they can, but it's one of those, sometimes you just need someone to walk you through it, show you the screens, explain a little bit more in detail.
Completely agree. Things are headed in the right direction. Thanks for coming through, and we'll see all you guys back here in another video tomorrow.